Meet Michael. He's been working as a high school teacher for 10 years and he's currently making $60,000 a year. However, he feels all his hard work for the last decade hasn't come into fruition. This is mainly because he feels stuck in progressing financially. We're going to introduce 8 middle class traps to Michael that the middle class commonly fall into, which typically holds them back from becoming rich. Trap 8. Keeping up with the Joneses. This phrase is referring to the trap that many people from the middle class fall into. People typically compete with their neighbours to have the nicest house or the nicest car on their street, which often results in people buying too much house or too luxurious of a car than they can afford. They live above their means to win this imaginary competition between them and their neighbours. Michael is one of these people. He has one of the nicest cars on the street, but his car repayment is taking up a lot of his expenses, which leaves him with little disposable income. For Michael to escape this trap, he needs to begin changing his mindset on what's important to him. Is having a nicer car than his neighbour Roy more important than taking his kids to Disneyland, or to begin saving for their college funds? He can begin by creating a budget to make more disposable income through decreasing his expenses. Talking of college, Trap 7. Student loans. Is going to college bad? No. Is going to college the only way to become successful? No. Is going to college one of the most important decisions you'll ever make in your lives? Yes, especially financially, because there's a lot of debt to take on at a very young age. The younger generations of the middle class often fall into this trap of going to college without entirely thinking it through. For example, do you need the degree for the job you want to pursue? Are you sure this is the career for you? Can you take on work experience or shadow a professional to be sure? Is the degree and job worth pursuing financially? Are you just going to college to move away from your parents? Are you just going to college to party? These are the type of important questions that the middle class fail to consider before making their decision to go to college. This makes it a trap because student loans can hold you back from progressing financially. When Michael went to college, he graduated debt-free because he was fortunate enough that his parents saved up enough money for him to go. If Michael was aware of how fortunate he was to graduate debt-free, he would begin saving up enough money in case his children wanted to go to college, and they could also graduate debt-free. Trap 6. Not taking risks. The middle class often fall into this trap because they find it hard to fathom the idea of risking their hard-earned money with the stock market, for example. If only they knew the risk they are taking on by saving their money in banks to gain little interest, while inflation devalues the worth of their savings every year. Despite Michael being no stranger to risk by keeping up with the Joneses, he could avoid this trap by starting to learn how to invest. Trap 5. Relying on one source of income. There's many sources of income that the rich use that the middle class fail to take advantage of. The middle class have a mindset that not taking on any risk will protect them financially, but they fail to see that the actions of this mindset has resulted in the consequences of them taking on more risk. This trap brilliantly highlights this as an example. By only having one source of income, it is very risky. Let's use Michael as an example. What if Michael lost his job? The risk factor for Michael and his family to keep up with the bills next month has suddenly increased. Whereas if Michael had multiple sources of income and he lost his job, then the risk factor isn't so high. Examples of other income streams that the rich use are dividends, profit income, interest income, rental income, royalty income, earned income, and the list goes on. Michael could avoid this trap by starting to buy stocks like Coca-Cola from the stock market, which pays out a quarterly dividend income to its shareholders out of its profits as another source of income, for example. This would decrease his risk. Trap 4. Not caring about money. People who are broke may claim to not care about money, despite spending most of their time working for it. Some of the reasons for that is because they may feel they have little control over their financial situation, and a lack of concern about money can be a way of coping with their circumstances. Additionally, they may view a focus on money as materialistic, and they may want to distance themselves from those values. Furthermore, they may feel that they are working hard but not getting ahead, and the idea of not caring about money may be a way of dealing with that frustration and disappointment. People have to care about money to an extent, because money is a part of everyday life. This trap wouldn't apply to Michael, as he's taken an active interest in his finances. Trap 3. Taking on high interest debts. If there has to be one trap that every generation of the middle class falls into, then it would be high interest debt. The most popular forms of high interest debts are student loans, credit cards, and car repayments. To an extent, it doesn't matter what the initial figure of the loan is. It's the interest over time that builds up which makes it harder for the middle class to pay them off. This trap is easy to fall into, but a pain to get out of. These loans hold the middle class from progressing financially. The rich avoid high interest debt like the plague. Despite Michael's parents paying off his student loans when he was younger, he has already fallen into this trap with his high car repayment and a couple of credit cards. If Michael wants to progress financially, then he's going to need to prioritize getting out of this trap. Dave Ramsey's debt snowball method is a good concept for Michael to use as a tool to get out of debt. If you want to learn more about Dave Ramsey's debt snowball and the baby steps, then be sure to check out the video linked above. Trap 2. Not investing in assets. The middle class do invest, they just invest in liabilities like a new car. By investing in income producing assets like stocks and real estate, this will give the middle class a hedge against inflation, which devalues their money every year. Michael has fallen into this trap many times throughout the years, by investing his hard-earned money into new cars. If Michael, for example, was to invest $500 per month rather than pay $500 towards his car, into a simple S&P 500 fund, which averages a 10% return across a 30-year time horizon, then Michael could have over $1 million when he approaches retirement. Before revealing arguably the most common and the most important trap to avoid, if you're enjoying this video so far, then make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Trap 1. A lack of financial education. Financial education can help people make better money decisions and take steps to achieve their financial goals, which can lead to a more secure financial future. Most people are in this trap and will never progress financially because of their lack of financial education. They don't teach about money management in schools, despite being an important part of everyday life. This is why many people are in high interest debts, have no disposable income, nor invest into assets. One of the reasons why investing gurus like Warren Buffett, Dave Ramsey, and Robert Kiyosaki, or even small YouTube channels like Millionaire exist, is because of the lack of financial education in schools. It's never too late to learn, to make a change with your finances. It's not too late for Michael to learn about budgeting, for example, which would free up more disposable income that he could put towards his debts or investments. If Michael is going to avoid one trap, then it better be this one. In conclusion, Michael can see money differently now. Having the traps highlighted to him makes him aware of how blind he was with money before. It's not too late for Michael to change direction to a new path, to finally see his hard work come to fruition, a new path towards financial security and prosperity for him and his family. Michael has a good opportunity to change. However, what if I told you there was a good opportunity coming in the stock market? Well, if you're curious, then be sure to check out our next video, where you can make passive income with dividend investing during the 2023 recession.